Joseph Schultz, Joseph P. Schultz. I have a middle initial. I came to KI many years ago when I graduated the Jewish Theological Seminary. I came as an assistant rabbi to KI in 1955 and came back 12 years ago to Boston and to KI. And since that point in time, I've been teaching the class and have been working on several books. At that time, KI had a membership of about 1,300 people, 1,300 families, I should say, not people, 1,300 families. It was a very, very big congregation. At that point in time, there was a large Jewish migration into Brookline from Dorchester, Mattapan, and Roxbury. When we arrived, it was in the middle of the polio epidemic. And there was a lot of concern by parents that kids shouldn't come into the synagogue because just like now, they were afraid of catching the virus. I was in charge of all the youth groups, teenage groups to college groups, and there were a lot of them at that point in time. I was being touted by a significant membership in the congregation to become the head rabbi. But there was a lot of opposition to it because I was still a very young man. I must have been about 20, I was about 28 years old, 29 years old, and they felt that such a congregation needed somebody who was a little bit older than that. And so I was passed over, and they went and they took Emanuel Saltzman from New York, took a position at Boston University, where I founded the Judaic Studies program in 1963. And I began teaching on a part-time basis in that program. I remained there until 1973. And in 1973, there was an upheaval at Boston University. The new president, John Silber, felt that there was no need for a Judaic Studies program, and he wanted to throw it out. I was already in my 7th year, and they had not yet made a tenure decision. And so I appealed it, and they rejected it and wanted to throw the program out. I decided that I would go. At that point in time, the University of Missouri in Kansas City was looking for a man to found a Jewish Studies program. And I was one of the candidates they interviewed, and they took me. And so I was there, and I founded the program at the University of Missouri, Kansas City, for 26 years. I also founded, with the help of the dean of the college, a Center for Religious Studies, which was a consortium of 6 colleges and theological schools, plus the University of Missouri. It was a graduate program in religious studies, and I was the first director. There are 19,000 Jews in the city of Kansas City, 19,000 Jewish families, but it's in the Bible Belt. And there are a lot of evangelical seminaries in that area who were very interested in Judaism. I had a lot of non-Jews in my class. Rabbi Hamilton was extremely welcoming, and I must give him a great deal of credit. He's a very genuine person. I asked him if I could perform some functions there to help him out. He didn't have an assistant rabbi, and he was very gracious about it. And so I was reading the Torah in the minyan on once a week, and attended the minyan led the minyan another day. And when he was out of town, I would handle his calls and his visits. Several years ago, I shifted to topical subjects, and we began a study of Jewish afterlife views from the Bible till the present. And then we finished that about a year or 2 ago. And so now we're beginning a study of the Jewish experience from biblical times to the present. And that's where we're at. And we're discussing now the fragile democratic foundations of ancient Israel. We are living in a period of time where there are such major problems that are facing us, and the only way that a democratic republic can deal with them is through a grassroots revival of some sort.